Nilchish Woochin Khasati, Stakatuhan. Yaaw ʼakatuwaneek Yéil Ḳutlaakw aya Wooch ʼanachtulaneek. Yéil Ḳutlaakw duwasago at Yéil Ţsaqtsu khoach Taanáx ashkalneek. Yaaw shia de Héen ishkalneek qutzati Yéil daat. Just naskaya ʼakatuwaneek ʼanachtulaneeki yakhana. Tak itit khoaha yekhwaji yisatinwech khawaqitunak awdagan Yesu. Nike aya yayaki adayejitune weshkalnik. Ajoy adatyu ʼatánk. Koshkone adayejigachtune. Shukwachat yiinka kwaslanik. Dech ashkalnik ki. Yegach yisatin we chagutashkalnik yidekakwaha wega. Taanáx ʼakatuwaneek yitu chaltakatat yisatin we kashukhawa gekach du yidekakwaha. Qodaya yakwahi. Yudisowe Łukaskaqeq yuduwasak Łukaskaqeq. Yéil Ďukaq sati. Chilqaqasti ji aweqoa. Chayanas qaq ayu we shawat. Qayikuqeq yuduwasak. Qanahawe wuqaq. Qanah wuqaq. Aqawe duxantu wagut weqa. Shaq yuduwasago at shaq. Ho'owe ashqewa wuz. Wanaxsaya iqaq. Dwe shawat qoa. Ya ik. Yetki. Yetki hasajaq. Hasajaq hoy yetki. Jid hoy awsat. Qaqnahoyach tuwu kawat we ikch. Ya shaq daat ʼatánk. Ya each qaq aya we te. We qis shuwiteyi aqaqqishi. Qanahawe katudugo atinachiyati katujiachiyati te. Akach aya shoot akach like. Qanahawe akade shute akgita aqaawe itcha kakginut. Keltasach akginuk. Helwasa ekwati. Atakho ayeqaqwasti. Keltujakhi yadi. Duqayachaye awsane. Nij kakaya we te qaquwashi. We te akach qanach kataduk kakotiacheti. Tujiacheti at akatawe shoot out ak. Just chaye kugenku uwat at our nude. Aqaawe tokane awo Yéil Ḳutzati wega. Nu yachki we Yéil. Ďukaq qa dushat. Has du gurku. Ďukat yeqa has kushiyan. Yist tokane yeqa. Aqaawe has du hasakawaneek. Idaqawe tokane awo. Ha ʼakatuwaneek akhante wukuti. Ajoy ashkuwaqa dukhant qakutit. Dukhant wagut we Yéil. Ya Łukaskaqeq Yéil Ţkáic ʼatúwasagu ʼatdáchaíoch I chut ʼatdáchaíoch chut dách úságu at cleillion wúnaí Yaaw. A dhéictewe qonné a chut Yéil Ţutlaakw. Casa ʼatq de Taanáx a tach. Yéil ʼakatuwaneek Yéil a jak has a jak de céilc has Yéil de hunchu has de cat has a jak. Yéil Ţachonach Yéil tí dáchi chujakchi dách a káwawatl a káwawatl itach de kák de chantú agat. Wasa atka qonné yidat ha yaqisku qeq weka Yéil Ţkáic. Qaya asklein qutzati ʼatúwasagu yiqiji Yéil atewugud qunachuyliat as Yéil qonné a chut a kach kach asch ustiqo in usagu at chikhe a chut in qonné de kade usus. Just do de kanach a kawakutzko wasa litzin Yéil. A gu de a chut kashasa yichtas a gu a qatsu de kak chantu agut. Wasa atnanen yidatach kak ha qultu qutwune. Kelk tetlein each kach. A taí a qú naq a'tuwasagu Yéil Ţutlaakw achis Yéil tána usagu a'atánk a gut Yéil a qa a'atánk wugud Yéil Yéil tána Yéil Ţutlaakw naq cleilchis naq ustiqa qustin naq wasa tlachliqi at Yéil shkakilsa Yéil aqa naq yadikhusati du jintaqe wuti uski naq yadi aqa de kak khande wugud de kak de khusit a khitch aqa Yéil shkakilsa qustin naq khusati de kak qonné keo tlachtuash Yéil Yéil Ţuwasagun Walnis Yéil Ţutlaakw Wooch has wuta at qonné Yéil de kak a'tuwasagu qis takte na déni aqa qonné daqu qunach daqu qis Yéil dag na llain Yéil de Ţuwasagu qonné yan llai Yéil Woochin has qulagaw qis daat de kak Yéil Ţutlaakw Yéil awsaku qonné shak qutlit wiltakat willingatani an qallaqu usagu at away we ʼutskach our tuk ʼaqatuwaneek teen. Away to Ḥitai teen away we cut away kawahash kawush dachi ausane. Yéil Ďuklá away ausakawe Yéil. ʼatudli.átk ʼatudli.átk we gach. We ʼutskach dugu o ʼatudli wugud. Away ʼutskach usati. Yéil away ausaka away Ďuklá. Lingi Taanáx iguchlati. Hellwasa ʼakatuwaneek. Lingi Taanáx iguchlati. Hellwasa ʼakatuwaneek. Away Ďuklák hiti de wugud. Ďuklák shatqaquwashi. Ďuklák guchu away aqayati. Has ausatin we Yéil qone has waqach. Yéil qa'a. Gusu aqkak shat. Hu away aqkak teen. Ďuklák has a jak has a wajak. Ďuklák gudu in has a ʼakawaneek. Ďuklák a kinde ʼawtliqen. Ausatin we Yéil Ḥutlaakw we hit kachi just a tayid away kinde wugud ka awashat at we ʼaani away heyde shubutan ausatin away to kak shat tu ye wuti adachawe wugud Yéil ausatin kunt awo away to ini awu ye away aw khut we Yéil ʼakatuwaneek Yaanach away aw khich kun away qone to yate ya haskawtayich ʼaan away a Yaaw we Yéil kinde away wuha Ďuklák aqadiskhusati we ka ʼaltakat we Lingatani qo aqone away a shawlhlid ya Yéil ausatin just tlini away ʼaltakat we Lingatani qa ajwe kinde daqin khats tunach away ya waqich de just aqe wutian away aqe wutian qone aya shwdaqaiq qashwdatul wanani sawe qone ke uwe qajak she khat qaqaskid qajak she khat qaqaskid de Ďuklái ʼawtliqen ausatin qaja akat wujigit qanachawe wudahwet we Yéil Ďuklasagu aqawe wulsai ayuko awa ach dudicht ade ʼawtliqen ausatin away we yauch away ausatin wasawe aqpadna ye awaqa we hin takkat age hin takkat age naqidat ach ye awaqa hin takkat away kakwat ach Tleo age ye yati tleo aya aqayati aqjit ka kwachwe tleo aqpadna ye away aqaqawatsu ye away ade atqawtli yubu ye kwalti tawawsagu du itwadashi aqkani aqyaqawu aqpabli aqpadna ye away we yauch hin takkade away with the touch قخدي أوي كل ودت أتقل وخاك أقاقخ ودقود وكليوتين تجيت أوي أكاوا كوتش آن أوي وييل قني أيا أو سيخ تكت ويسلنجت آني تكت ويقات ويشا تكت وآن وتسكو ويتلتك أو سيخ تتوقع أو سيخ أقاوي أو ستين تلو تجيه وتين خناخوي دكيد أو ست أقاوي و أنا أوت آني أو سيخ ويقات أقاوي تلتكت يوهان يدخوها
قد أيا ʼaan قلق إدخ أوى كيل أيا داسا إيتي وتي يسلنجت آني كاك أسلكت أتقى أكاي وتي يخان كيل أيا آن أتوي وتين يا آس يا وسك
Aya wasakawa haya at ayo te kide duatin anak ke akakanji we kan aya ya yudat te kinach ke kakanji kan aya ya yande asaya he ya yande
Away so hate at ʼaan away Wooch ne udeki de crochet da adaknin ʼaan ach jinach yan yasi ʼaan ayu udeki nach ke kaganch ada tlech adek tlech ach tua ushka tlech you yandu cage
خيا وانا الناس وي كاك خند وقت ايا كاك ايا دكلو ايا ياد شغنخ يا كاك away ye adane you lude away kausa khat we take
Aya ya ganch ya teil cha aga aweta ye ashu kawaja yu khan tu ani dakin atu stekat at du ega tian ya linget ani ya akle ayu Yéil Ďáchfudakin ade ash chayach du llude chachat weteil.
Aya gwallall ya de away aksika llall ya du wach handi gall tut aya aratin ya nach llww ya coch hunt gut hada ade dak idactin.
Akuni ha idashi you ha ande dak idakin rege ade akjis ʼaan ya yes yigi ye yukani rek
Tellade a chlú ko a dach gugagan a chlú ach gugagan yag a yek kwa we I llú iti ye yanach ke kwa ke a yek kwa a I llú a awe yan awe ayakwa ayakawaka ya kak Yéil yak
Achowe Yéil Yak Kakwa Ak Ade Dakwadakini Achawe Dakinawe Awasiakwe ʼaan.
Yende, ʼatudli.átk ade ʼatánk agiwekdagach an awe yandakin idu ayakwan.
Awe Ayadaka Ayah Auhulie Ahitakat at Ayayanik Ayayan Han Yan Yéil Ţlaakw Yéil in Ayasayek Awe Ya As Ude Awe
Ualit Kayaaní Hude tu ualit Kayaaní Hude tu ualit Wehan Achaya Yaas.
ʼatudli.átk ʼaan atu akagan kayawas yatetsu ʼaan Wooch udaqadi
Yekla a Yéil Ďánaach ade yatiye yashkashnik away Wooch ke uwagan way Yéil Ţlaakw ye wake up kua a etit awakok way nak slubu a chawet ishugu away hastu slubu way nak ka way
Jeez. Adusa Uyach. Is the cut Johanna again?
Ya ʼaan basa ku itdach awa has aya dasa iti yewuti ya singit ani kag has the cut at kwa aka yewuti ya ʼaan has aya ʼaan atu yewutien ya as but ya wask
Was Tuchat Akya Wasak Kawahai at Aya De Ki De Duatin Anach Ke Ak Ganji Wekan Aya Yayidat Yudekinax ke kaganjir ʼaan. Aya yande asaya he yande.
Alright, so hitat chant awe uguch. Ne, de kide kwashe dak ida kain. You kan ach jinach yan yasayek. Kan aya you de kinach ke kaganch. Ada tle ade. Tle aktua uske. Tle you yandus cage.
One ane so we call hand organ. Aya call aya tutlu aya yat shugunach yak away away adana you ashud away a cause had we take kua.
Ikan shatik yatik ha aka awetsa ta ye ashuk kawaja yukan tuch an yidakin a tuch klipat atu kega tien yakinge ani ya akla yech ayu yech dak udikin ade ash kayach duhlude kachat mitech.
Wooch dak de owe ak sechat tlach wach chadi gal aya adatin ya na llu ya chad good ade dak edekin.
Ach uni chat idashi yu andi dak idaktin lege ade akjies yan a yigisiegi ye yu chan lek.
Ade ak shruwu hua adak gugagan. A shruwu ak gugagan. Yakei a ye wa'u we I shruwu iti. Ye yanak ke kwake aye kaku ashi a I shruwu. A awe yan awe ayakawa ka ya kak. Yes.
At awe yawaka yak ʼakatuwaneek. Ade dakwadakini ach awe at dakin awe ayaw siyekwe an.
Yande dullu daknagan awe tlel ade adan kwane ye agiwe ktakach an awe yandakin itu ayekwan.
You awe adayaka ayach awul keg chaltakat at aya yanik aya yanhan yan an ayawadlaq yesh jinach yan aya sayek awe ya askhi khude awe a.
ʼatudli.átk Kayawaski hode tu ʼatudli. Yatek hode tu ʼatudli. Wekan. Achaya ya as.
shoot to the ʼaan ʼatuyewute akagan kaya what's yatetu ʼaan atuwu wushtwuda kandi wushtu kandi.
Shoot to the ark. Oh. Yéil ʼutlaakw ʼatudli.átk Wooch Yéil Gsmåchuateq Yéil Gsmåchuateq ʼatudli.átk ʼatudli.átk
Where's my... I used to be able to do these cool things like this, and it doesn't work anymore. I used to do like confetti, laser beams. Okay. Johan. Thoughts, reflections, questions? We're gonna translate the last one. But that was a good 30 minutes, maybe.
Yéil Ďukaíoch city.
The cock.
Ďukaíoch.
The claw. The eek.
Adúcha du ish.
Llach.
Llach.
But Yéil ish, you do a sock with llach. I guess I'll just have this party thing on the whole time. So it's just party. Thoughts or questions before we do our translation?
Ishkachnig, One, Raven stories? Hadashan?
Yeah, this is the first 3 from the Raven cycle. Some people tell them in different order. I mostly study the ones by Frank Italio and Susie James, although like I studied a whole bunch of them. But they're just so good. They're so fun. It's good. It's practice for me to try and tell them. There's certain parts I still got to work on, but it's just
Ishkachnig, I like ka enach Yéil Ďukaíoch we sats the tuchiachiti we gach.
Yeah,
we gach.
He shot these. I think they're the little black ducks. My uncle he liked to go watch them because he said by watching those ducks he could tell where the fish were. Ďukaíoch is what they're called. They're little black ducks. And that's what Raven shot with. So ʼatudli is to shoot something with a bow and arrow, or to choose your gambling stick. Like when, you gotta pick a side, and both of those, and so ʼatudli would be the command form for shoot it with an arrow or make a choice. So he shoots that black duck, and then he cut it open along the back and pulled it open and told his mom to crawl inside, and she became that little black duck. And then he said, it's probably my favorite thing to ever say in Tlingit. I said it to my mom at a very precious time. But what is that? Just Tlingit ani ka iguchlatit.
Float on the world.
You're just gonna ride the waves of the world. Yep. Ḥilwasa ikwane.
Would that be it doesn't matter what you will do?
Well, Héill sa ʻakatuwaneek is you will be okay. So it's one of those phrases where like, so ʻkeshwa means not how, and then you have wune. A lot of times you'll say but the verb is going to be wune, right? So attached to that. But because of klesh, it's always going to be negative. So you could say kleshke wasak kwane echandik kwakuti. Would it be okay if I come by you? So but it could also, you could say kleshwasa ikwane if you're trying to reassure someone, like nothing bad is going to happen to you. You're not going to get hurt. You're going to be okay. And then they'd say keshwasa uti. And that means like nothing bad happened, I guess. But it has like very special like cultural meaning. Like I've been talking with a group of learners and trying to talk about like the way I'm challenging them as language learners. I said, do a ceremony in the language, just anything. Do a ceremony in the language. And like now, it would be a good time to think about making an offering to the plants, doing that in the language. And then I said, write a dialogue where two people who know each other really well and are very close have a conflict. And so the model for this was, I once did a dialogue exercise years ago, I think, where it was two people and they're like, how are you? Wasa'yati, hishwasachatuti, wa'eko'a, a'tuyaké, we ashka hiti, kunacho Yéil ख़utlaakw, a'tlein dana nistan. How? Danake achjite kakiti, klektihin dana, oe achjit hihis. Kayak TV klein achtuasaguchwa u Costco. How? And so that was the frame. So I sort of set it up like, how are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm great. I hit it big at bingo, won lots of money. You gonna pay me back that money you borrowed from me one time? No, I'm gonna buy a big TV. And then and so I wrote that much and I said, okay, you guys gotta write the resolution. Like, how do they fix it? And then they had some fun being sort of creative with the language. So then the other thing that I had challenged them with was resolving something. So like, if there's a dispute between two people or two groups of people, it could be clans, and if they get together and talk it out, like let's say this person did something really hurtful, and then they sort of decide to get together and try and work it out. If the person who was hurt says, Heshwasa uti, then it's kind of according to Tlingit culture, it's donezo. Like it's done, it's killed, it's been taken care of. But it has to be an agreeable solution, right? Anyways, long answer. So not even a question, but other thoughts, questions, reflections?
Chwasatu, Francatalio, Shkashnik, Shitty Raven, Yéil
ख़utlaakw.
Yéil
ख़utlaakw. And sometimes they'll say ʼatudli.átk. The word order seems to move back and forth. But, well, first, there is a difference between ʼchwatu and ʼchwasatu. Do we know that difference? Does anybody know that difference?
I read verses, I read this particular thing.
ʼchwaditu, I was reading, just whatever, I read. ʼchwatu, I read it.
Oh, okay.
ʼchwasatu is something else. Anybody know?
Is that counting?
It's counting, but a little bit more specific. S for specific. To a specific number. Kayaaní. Kayaaní. ʼchwasatu. I counted to 20. I'm so proud, right? And so, yeah, but that's a good one. Like looking at that classifier difference, it's really good. Yes, someday my kids will watch these videos and be aghast.
So ʼatudli, I was reading ʼatudli, I read it, ʼatudli, I counted to a specific number.
Yes.
Okay.
Kunsa is 2. What can you count to? Yeah, one time my kids were pretty little, and the oldest one was demonstrating her, and I had never translated these things. I told them all these stories. I gotta tell them again, because I think they're starting to get a little foggy on the details. But I think my daughter said something like, Yéil Ďáchtuasaku, or Héen ʼachtuasaku ish. I was like, oh, you okay? And then I gave it to her because I was happy she was using Tlingit. And she said, Gulchish. I was like, oh, you okay? Gulchish ish, Kunachike. Gulchish, Kayaaní ish. Because I thought it was funny. But yeah, that was a good example of just raising your kids in Tlingit. Like, gotta be ready for anything, I guess.
Your kids may hate these stories, but your grandkids will love them.
That's right. Like, oh, your mother. Let me tell you what she did to me. But that was that's Frankatana goes on and on about that. That Raven's mother never named him. It was the person who was sitting on the tide when he turned them upside down. Or maybe it was when he first blocked the heat from that fire. They said, Yéil, or Yéil Ţlaakw. And that's where the name Yéil comes from, according to Frankatana. So it's pretty funny. But yeah, these Raven stories are very, very fun. But some of them are so, like the first one is so dark and serious. Like it is, it really is. Okay. We're ready for the translation? What do we got there? Tell me what you see.
Then following the flood.
Oh. That's a cool flood.
Yeah, ʼaan is a flood of the world. Like, so, ʼaan is like usually when you hear that, people will think of the flood. But there are several floods in Tlingit stories. This one is the first one. But it's not, there's no human beings at the time. So I guess you could probably say here after the flood.
Somebody made like a timeline of like these events, or like made like a chart. That project somebody's done?
You could. I mean, it could be done. We were, the closest I've done is I've got them in, I think 13 of them in the order that I think I would tell them, just based on what I've been studying. Because when you say Yéil Ţlaakw, that means you're going to tell them all in a row. And then there's some of them that I think are kind of outliers, even though, like, they might be out of sequence types of things that are just for fun. And they seem to sort of follow this, because they all follow there's these sort of themes that pop up in the stories. But then there's this little set of them where he tricks these specific animals and usually eats them. Kashaya dasa a iti wuti.
Nothing was left.
Yéil Ţlaakw.
Of the world.
Okay. And ask questions as we go through if you got them. Don't worry, just ask them if you got them. Anything you recognize.
Is this like, but everything was on it?
Yeah, I don't know. Seems to contradict what we just heard, but that's how they tell it. Yéil.
That fire.
We'll say this fire, because yeah. Kech ʼaan ʼatúye Yaaw.
This fire was not being in the tree?
Kayawask. Do we know what wask is?
Thank.
Dasawe kanata.
Is it a branch? Sprout branch.
Dasawe kanata.
It's a
Blueberry.
bush. It's a bush.
Kanata what's-i? It's a bush. And
Look at the bushes.
okay. So there ain't no fire on the world. No fire. Again, very quick recap of the story I told at the beginning, because it leads up to this. There was a person named Yéil Ḳutlaakw, which means tide commander, and his sister, whose name is Kayaaní, is walking along crying, and is really, really crying, and this person comes up to her named Héen and says, "Why are you crying?" And she says, "My brother kills all of my children. He just takes them right out of my hands." And so he says, "Are you going to go find this round rock on the beach? It's black and it's solid, and you're going to build a fire over it, and when it's just cooling off, you could touch it, you're going to swallow it, you have a baby that no one could kill." So she does like he says. She has this baby. He starts growing real fast. The uncle has a bunch of slaves and his wife, and they're always looking for her babies. Someone reports back, she's got a new baby, so he says, "Send it over my way." So he's grown by this time. He grows very fast. Goes to his uncle. His uncle says, "Go, adds out that unfinished dugout canoe of mine." And so he's adding in this dugout canoe, and it bites him over the top of him. And that's how he killed his nephews. But Raven was very tough and elbows it and breaks it, and then goes back to his uncle and says, "What now?" He says, "Go chop down this giant tree out there." He goes to chop down this tree, but it wasn't a tree. It was a giant flint tree. And so whenever they would chop it, like flint would fall down, and that's also how he killed his nephews. But it just bounces off of Raven, and he cuts it all down to a stump, and he comes back. He says, "What now?" He says, "Well, there's a big old rock out on the beach. Underneath is an octopus. Go get it for me." He goes out there with an octopus hunting staff. It's called Taanáx, and ʼatánk is octopus hunting. And so he goes and he gets this octopus, but it's a gigantic one. And he says, "Make yourself small," and it turns it into a baby. He has it in his hand, this little baby octopus. And he goes back to his uncle and he throws it at his uncle's feet and he says, "Make yourself big," and it turns itself back into this giant octopus. And his uncle says, I don't want that." And Raven says, "Oh, you said you wanted it." And then they have this cute little back and forth. And then they meet and they fight over the tide. Raven wants the tide to go out. His uncle wants the tide to go in. And then his uncle brings the tide and starts to flood everything. And so he goes and shoots this black duck, tells his mom to get inside of it, tells her she'll float along the waves and she'll be okay. Then he goes to the house where his uncle was looking for his uncle's wife, because he was mad because she and his uncle had conspired to kill all of his older brothers. So he goes in there and the slaves are crying because they're scared of him. He's asking where his uncle's wife is, and they wouldn't tell him, but one of the slaves looks up and he sees a box up there in the rafters, and he pulls it down and she's inside of it. And she has Kuntao Aweduini, What is that? Kun tawo. Oh, wait, to ini. Or I guess it's to ini. Ini tawo. Oh, that's a weird part of the story.
Flicker feather.
Flicker.
Flicker feathers in her ini. In her armpits. So she had these flicker feathers in her armpits. And he plucked them and he threw them on his uncle's face and they turned into flickers. And they flew at his face, and that's when he got mad. Floated up and became the moon. That's where the moon comes from. And then he floods the world completely. And so Raven flies up, pokes his beak in the sky. It's there for a long time, and he starts to ʼatudli.átk. He was spinning himself and ʼatudli.átk, swinging himself. And at some point, he got really tired of being there, and he started to yell, let me land on a kelp island, Kaja. And then he looks down, there's a kelp island. He lands on it, and he thinks, I could finally rest, I'm so tired. Then he hears this breathing behind him. He turns, it's a sea otter, and he says, hey, partner, can you swim to the bottom? Can you reach the bottom? And he says, yeah, I can reach the bottom. Is there sand there? Yeah, there's sand there. Bring some up. Put it in my hands. So the sea otter starts going down and bringing up all the sand, and Raven rebuilds the world. And when the world is rebuilt with all the islands and mountains just like it is, and when it's built to his liking, he looks down, he's got some sand left in his hand, so he throws it way out to sea. It becomes the Aleutian Islands. Then he flies out to those islands, and he wants to take a rest there, and he looks out, and he's going to see something. That gets us to where we're at.
Did he survive because of what his mom did with the orca and the rock?
Because he was born of a stone.
Okay.
That's why. But yeah, in the Francatelio version, it is a killer whale named Wooch. But in every other story, it's a heron. Wasa kawahayi atayu? Kawahayi at. That's a,
What season is it?
that would be Yéil Gsmålta. So now, like a kawahayi, this is like a kind of a strange one. Well, literally, it means wasa kawahayi atayu. What on earth could that be out there? What is that? And so kawahayi is a strange thing. Like it's just something that appears. It's something that nobody knows how it got there, I guess, is how we might think of it. So you could say, what is that strange thing? How is it? Because here's another instance, Tlingit has several of them, where it's a wasa construction, but would end up like, what on earth is that way over there? De ki de du watin. Now we've got a fourth person verb here.
The people see way out
Yeah, so people, but as far as like how, when we say like duatin, I guess if we look at the negative, so we ask, we didn't know of a name for the no-see-um, and we're at a language camp in Yakutat. We're getting chewed up to pieces. And so it's like, what's that do a sock no-see-um? So they call it ʼatudli.átk, and it means it cannot be seen.
there. Oh, okay.
So like a lot of times when you translate this ʼchatin, it's also, it can be like I see that, but it's also I can see it. But it's interesting because it switches if it's a specific thing, like that boat, that dog, you as a person. And so in this case, I would say de ki de du watin, it can be seen way out to sea. Oops, I'm not watching the chat, sorry. ʼanach ke ʼakakanji with ʼaan.
Fire could burn through it.
Yeah, so ʼanach ke ʼakakanj, it would be, it keeps burning up. It's like it's burning up along the surface, or like something that's sort of like, I guess I would think of fire like shooting up like this.
Mm.
So the fire is shooting up along it.
Where does that suffix, the G, come from?
The J?
Yeah.
Okay, so you would have, so you would probably have something like a kagan, which would mean it could burn, or a kawagan. It can burn. It can be lit. It's flammable. But then, or I guess you'd probably say a kawagan. And so this is a g conjugation verb. And when you put g conjugation into on a regular basis, you would get k a kaganch. And if you put a suffix onto ch, you're going to get it's going to turn into a j.
Okay.
So anach ke a kaganji is that or when it is regularly lighting on fire. It can be lit, yeah. Ayayayidat. That should probably be 2 A's.
Here now.
You te ki nach ke kaganji ʼaan.
Out to see the fire is shooting up. Way out there.
Ayayayende asayahe. Sorry, asaya. Ayayayende asayahe. Lots of ya right in a row. Yayayende.
Is it here toward the beach? Young.
Asayahe. Anybody know that verb? To want it. You want it to happen, you want it to, so he wanted it to come, he wanted it on the shore. Raven did. Yayende. Okay.
Is there something more like specific about that version of want?
That's a good question. Like ʼakatuwaneek is want or like, and I would say asayahe is when, that's a good question. Let's go see what they got. So I think we'll find this under wanting, maybe.
I don't think we can see if you're trying to share.
Switching right now. Switching.
Okay.
So we see they want some more money, they want to go home. So tsudana dutua asagu, they want some more money. This is a partitive object pronoun, which we probably don't see a whole lot, but I think it's good to know. So you could say ahwacha, I ate some. So then you could say there should still be some left. So here we have, like, it works just fine to tie to a verb. And then we see with a strong feeling, to be decided, to have an intention. So this one, like, I want to give you this book. Like, so in this case, you don't even need a second verb. Like, the handling verb doesn't even have to be there. Whoever wishes for that, raise your hand. I want my wife back. And so it does seem to have, like, then we see a related one. And we see also it could be sachwaha or sachwahe. And then we see these other examples. Chuhu aya yesadehe. They want to be like them. That is, they want to be dead like them. My goodness. And then you say tuwati. Yachas ayachlajak tuwati. They wanted to kill them. Gande tuwati. They feel like going outside. And we see another ha one, have a desire to do something. Achukhat uwaha. I wanted to laugh. Tz'ek to eat uwaha. They wanted a cigarette. I guess is how you would translate that. So yeah, I would say it's like a level up. Like, so this would be like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And this is like really wanting it. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, so the question was, is it the same as like to be lonesome for someone? So to be lonesome, there's different ways to say it. So you could say esachwaha, like I'm lonely for you. I want you near me is how I would sort of probably think of that one. A yachwatas, I am kind of sorrowful in wanting you. And then I'm kind of bored without you. Slight differences, but yeah, good questions.
What was Woochatish?
Like, because it also means boredom, so it's more like just loneliness. Like, I feel lonesome without you. But all very related concepts. Okay. Awe to hate at hunt awe ukutch. Oh, with only 10 minutes left, I'm guessing y'all might have some translation work ahead of you. Let's see how far we can get, though. I'll there. To hate at. Do we know hate?
Like that. Is it like that thing, but it's hey instead of yas? It's like,
Yeah, so we know how the like ya,
you know?
he. This is stretching back into your beginning Tlingit brain. So these ones like here, right here, here, there, way over there. And then we know we can do like ya do, hey do, way do, you do. Right? So like saying to be located there. So usually you say like ya do khat, way do ya do gao, way do iish, those types of things. Then you can also do yat, hate, wait, ute. You'll never get it predictive text. You'll never get it. So what would these ones be doing?
This one, that one, that one.
This one, yep. This one right here, this one, that one way over there. And it is not impolite to use this for people. I've been in situations where speakers have said, wait achanawuz, Ask that one. It doesn't mean like a non-human thing. It just means one of them.
So is that this thing? Or
This one, ʼatudli.átk. He keeps going up to them. So he's asking, the context here is, he's asking all the birds. Nay is, hey, when you're trying to get somebody's attention.
So that ʼugooch, that should be a underline, or
What's
is
that?
it not?
No, it's ʼugooch. It's like ʼugooch. They always go up to them. So like you could say, so what you have here is you have, and this is where it gets a little tricky, is this CH is doing a different thing than the other CH. That last CH with the K kagunji, that one has to do with like on a regular basis. And so it has these rules, and we call it the repetitive mode. And so it's not always a CH. We're going to see another one, which is, well, when you say like Yéil Ḳutlaakw, it's in there, that U and the K. Or like, so ʼausane is they did it. Yéil ʼausane. We'd say ʼatánk. They do it regularly. And then you'd say Yéil ṉásnach. They do it all the time. So Lingi has this thing where it can say, it did happen, it happens regularly, it happens all the time. So we go perfective, repetitive, habitual. This is the habitual form. So you say aweh. So you say ʼatudli.átk. They always go up to them. So he is always going up to them. And the daat is he's always asking these birds for favors when you study the raven stories. And if I was going to give any advice to those birds, I'd be like, don't do it. Something bad's going to happen. But I'm glad that now we have fire and all these other things. So.
Could you please fly out, way out there?
Well, the kshe is like, yeah, could you maybe... Oh, I guess I should probably have a question. Yuchan ach jinach yan yasagyek.
The fire through my possession.
Yan yasagyek. Might be worth checking out.
Is it like yake?
Yeah, I mean, yek would be the long form of it. Let's see what they got. I can't really remember how this one. I mean, it's like, get it for me. But I guess it's probably this one. Which would be like to pull it along, to bring it.
Carry it in your mouth.
Yeah, because like this, there's two different things that kind of that use this to pull up a line, to like pull on like a rope or something, or to haul something with, like you're gonna haul it like this. It's also to like for an animal to bite on something or to carry it in its mouth. But when we get to like the how they obtain it part, like it might be, I guess I would just say to get it or to bring it. You know, so when you say ʼanach jinach yan yasayiq, Yudikidek shedakitakin ʼanach jinach yan yasayiq. Could you fly way out to sea? Could you perhaps fly way out to sea and get that fire for me? Anayu yedekinach kekagunch.
The fire way out there.
Burning up.
Is that habitual?
This is, so the K in front of it usually gives it away, a low tone K. That it's a repetitive.
Oh, okay.
So basically a 0, you're usually going to get an underline X suffix. And so like you say, juk, they kill it regularly. Okay. So that's what the ch is doing. And then sometimes you'll get a different suffix on the word. It's usually the underline X. For na, you're going to get U, a plus I classifier, and then K at the end.
Okay.
For ga, you're going to get K in front of it and a CH at the end. And for qa, you're going to get yay in front of it and a CH at the end. That's the formula for doing your repetitives. Then there's a, you could look in the conjugator too, and you can look in the other charts to see what the stem variation is going to be.
Okay. Is that like daúsk?
Well, that one is more like, well, you could say, you would have something like yu-ya-usk. Yu-ya-usk. But without the U in front of it, that one is tricky because it's one of those things where it's like a whole bunch of little motions that make up a thing.
Okay.
It's like when you wash your hand, like that's how you wash things. It's like, and so Tlingit likes to mark that too for whatever reason.
Okay.
Yeah, so Tlingit is like, I don't know, it's like, you ever play Uno and then you get like 50 cards in your hand because you keep getting these draw fours. And Tlingit's like, that's how Tlingit takes care of repetitive concepts. It's like, what are we talking about? Habitual? Repetitive? One thing that's a bunch of little things? Like I said, it just kind of has those three. Hadar, kleshade. Hadar could also be hatla, could also be hado. There's many ways to interpret that.
Here?
Huh?
Don't come here?
Hatla. So I say hatla as like too much. Oh my. Someone said not even. I like that. What's the wishes of the group? How are you gonna hada? Okay, I'm going with not even then. I gotta pick.
I was going to say no way.
Well, after you, that's what kesh ade is. So kesh ade on its own. If you just say kesh ade, no way. Very short way to say it. So, achjiyisake, chakakkinik, chaltakatat, kesh ade. So you say you're going to translate all of this for me? No way. I'm just kidding, I would, but you're going to do something. Keshach tuwa ushku, keyu yan disqij.
I don't want to. But I don't want it.
Oh yeah, I don't want it. People always say to him. So the CH here is a habitual. It is a habitual. Oh, this should be high tone. Kayaaní discage. The fourth person means that it keeps being said. And then because it's an S classifier, we go from Yaaw, they said this thing, to a Yáwsaqa, they said this thing to that person. And so these are just, when you get into advanced Tlingit, there's all these little fine line things. So like, Yéil, they said this thing. Like, Ka jakti Yéil, Chilkwan akati sa kakuk, ya yekei at we Tlingit on a kakudziti at Ka, a Ka haswusanechi at. Don't forget this, Walter Soboleff said, don't forget this wonderful thing that was born on the earth, and on there it saved them. But then if you want to say, they said it to me, Yéil Ḳutlaakw, I said it to them, Yéil Kształk, I said it to you, Yéil Kształk, you said it to me, Yéil Kształk. Right, so you learn how to switch these. And it's tricky because you're learning like all these, there's a few different verbs that are associated with a similar concept, and then they conjugate a little bit differently. So again, like Yéil Ţánax, they talked. ʼaan Yéil Ţánax, they talked to me. Then you could say ʼaan ʼakatuwaneek, they told me about it. Now we're just talking about loosely this information, the news, the gossip. And then Yéil, they said it. Yéil, they said it to them, like a specific sort of phrasing. And then there's an imperfective for that, which is Yé'adayadaka, or Yé'adayaka. They are saying that to them. So those are very similar concepts, but I guess English has a different verb, kinda, for each of those. But I guess maybe not. You just start adding some more words into it. Anyways, there we are. We got to page 4. There's only 11 more to go. Thoughts or questions?
I had a question. How do you say pick herring branches or fish that way?
To like pull them out of the water, or to pick the eggs off of them?
To pick them up, I guess, to fish that way. Yeah.
Well, I think there's usually a verb for putting the branches in, I think. And then I think you would say ʼawayek for, you would have the yik verb for pulling them up. And so when we go in here and we say, okay, baiting with herring, bring a herring rake, they broiled the herring, cook herring eggs. So it has its own, this verb is to blanch something. And then to, that's barbecuing a herring, jigging herring. The herring are flipping their tails at the surface. There are quite a few herring. Here we go. So, ʼatudli.átk. So now we get our first clue on like a specific verb. And then we see there's a couple things we could do to sort of look at how the verb works. We see it as a perfective. It's long and low. That should tell us it is not a zero. And then we see ʼaan ʼakatuwaneek. Then it shows us a future. And because this shows us this perfective and this future, I now know the verb conjugation. Why? How do I know, and what is it?
It's null
Well,
because
it
there's
didn't
nothing.
have,
There's
yeah, it
no
didn't have a
prefix.
yay or a k in front of it.
There's no yay or k, so it shouldn't be ga or qa. But the perfective as a closed is long and low. So it's not a zero, or else it'd be short and high. So that means it's not conjugation. Now you can't always tell that, but in this case you can. Sometimes you look out and you get the right sample sentences. So here you would have object, subject, zero classifier, ʼatk, as a na conjugation verb. And that means to put the branches down. And there's specifically, this is to put the trees in the water for the spawning. And then, I don't know, so then they've got Kayaaní, the lights reflecting off of sparkling. Yéil Gsmålach, I salted the herring.
Renee, why would they use niche for that other verb?
Oh,
Like the
yeah, question. So here you have ʼatudli.átk. It's probably tied to the beach, I would guess, because it wouldn't be on the beach. I mean, maybe you put it at a spot where the tide comes up and they're going to come up towards it, and then the tide's going to go down. It'll be exposed. It might be something like that. Because you see nijuka as well there, and most people are doing, as far as I know, off the beach.
Sheesh.
Yeah, they'll tie them to buoys or floats.
Yeah. And then let's see. How a kausayi, so that's tying the branches together. Takautanits, it's starting to rot a little bit. And then how hinde shigachtu sakait, they're going to tip the hemlock branches into the water. So this one has more to do, like, probably it's like, it is quite like a tree, and you got to, like, it's a heavy thing you have to push into the water. And then I think that's it. So I think you're going to have Kayaaní. They pulled it up. I think that's the verb that I would probably suggest. Okay. Anya nachtla.
Hopefully a kind of quick question. This is really random too. ʼatudli.átk, would that mean like I bathed something?
Oh. ʼatudli.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should.
Okay.
Um,
I'm trying to figure. I was just trying. I was thinking about like ʼchudishch, right? Like that would be like you bathing yourself, right?
mhm.
And then and then I saw in yeah, there's an example in here that was like ʼtukane ʼchudishch, which like that's bathing the baby.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering if if that would work there too.
Yeah, it would probably be confusing because it would sound like I wasn't sure what I had given a bath to. Like maybe I put it down and it like scurried away. It was like it seems to me like it would be a strange, like how would you not know what it, because like I bathed something and like what? And so, but I do think it could work. But yeah, since those are usually living things, it does. They just hand me some creature and I would just be, all I know is I bathed it. So,
Well, like if it was somebody else doing it, like she bathed something. I don't know.
yeah,
I'm
I
just
don't.
thinking of the ut things.
Right. It might be a verb that's tough. Like you could say like I think you could say, like, let's say we're trying to get the house ready, right? And the house is kind of dirty, and I could say ʼatánk, wash something, right? So, and that's the case where it's like just wash anything, like wash something, like we're all working here. Yeah, I guess you could say bathe some. That's give something a bath. And what's also interesting is when you look back, there's an L classifier, which means to bathe the feet, and washing works like that as well. So you could say nashuz, and you could say achuz nashuz, wash my feet. But you could also say wegli nashuz, wash the meat. So meat and feet are somehow in the same classification here, which is just another wild thing to think about. Atchus nachus, wash something's feet. Okay, that's it. Okay, I guess that's a good one to end on. Bilchish Tlain. I will post this slideshow with the blanks. See how many blanks you could fill in by Wednesday. Now you have a task at hand. Some 40, some 50, some 100 sentences, whatever it is. And don't worry, if you get stuck, just go to the next one. But try and look up what you can. It's a fun story. Okay, Bilchish.
Begun Zoom. Yéil Ḳutlaakw.
Kushuk.
Everyone come join me on Zoom.
Sheesh.
Your classes are due, how do you say next night?
ʼatāt.
ʼatāt.
Or seqanantat, since it's tomorrow. Seqanan.
Their class is like 8:30 tomorrow.
Well, if people can make it, they can make it. I might be a little bit late. My family's got a dinner thing at 7, but I'll be on when I make it. And if somebody is on, then we'll do things together. And if not, then I'll do things by myself.
Sheesh.